Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. There was another assassination attempt on President Donald J. Trump's life recently. And look, it really does beg into question why this is happening. But more than that, it also begs into question the dangerous rhetoric that is being pushed by the Democratic Party. Now, look, I'm all in favor of freedom of speech. I will defend your right to say it, whatever that may be. Okay. I believe wholeheartedly that freedom of speech is a human fundamental right. We should be allowed to say certain things that, even if you disagree with it, even if you don't like it, you should be allowed to say it. But that does not mean for 1 second that it makes it right for you to say certain things, especially if you are an adult. Now, there is such a thing as incitement of violence, dangerous rhetoric that you can actually use to stir somebody up that is going to go out on their own accord based on what you've stirred up in them. And they're obviously going to make the choice to carry out whatever that thing is. Because unfortunately, in today's day and age, there are those really passionate lunatic psychos. And that is why, even though in a freedom of speech society, which you all have a fundamental right to live in and say what you want, it also means that you should still be careful with what you say. It doesn't mean that you can't say it. It means that you need to look at whether or not you should say it or not, especially online to a large group of people. You may say it to a couple of close friends or whatever else, but to an online group of people, especially if you are a presidential nominee, you're running for office and you're saying things like Trump is a threat to democracy, he needs to be eliminated, all of these things, it's dangerous and it's harmful rhetoric because you don't know whether or not somebody is watching that and going, they've said that Trump is a danger to democracy. Therefore, that means I need to take him out. If there's a threat, I need to take out that threat. So there's no threat anymore. See, they don't understand. This kind of language is dangerous. Doesn't mean that I don't want people to not be able to say it, but it's dangerous. It should not be said, I believe, on a campaign trail, especially now, because a lot of these words and sentences are used and weaponized. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because President Donald J. Trump has come out with a statement. His team has exposed all of the Democrats that have said certain things that are harmful and hateful towards Donald Trump. And look, a second assassination attempt on Trump's life. Put that into perspective. If this kind of rhetoric was being said, nothing was happening, so be it. Nothing's happening. But the fact is, stuff is happening and they keep saying it. They're not learning. They go on one hand, Trump is a threat and a danger to democracy. Then on the other hand, when an assassination attempt happens, they go, we are thrilled that Trump is safe. This kind of violence should not happen in a democratic country and society. It just has no place in our culture. But mate, you're inciting violence, literally. So what is it? I think as adults, we need to be discerning in our speech, for sure. Just because I want to say it doesn't mean I should say it. Could be dangerous. Yes, that is also very true. You can say it, doesn't make it right, doesn't make it good at all. But I think we need more speech to combat the hateful speech that someone has actually said, like Kamala Harris, like Joe Biden, like many of the other Democrats, Tim Walz, for example. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, because Trump has exposed them all. He's given you guys receipts. In the debate, he said, it's not him, it's the Democrats. It's her. It's Kamala Harris. They're constantly saying it. And by the way, there's a video circulating on Twitter at the moment of Kamala Harris being on Ellen 2018. And she's actually joking about assassinating Trump? Who jokes about that kind of stuff? I mean, you're supposed to be an adult. Now, 2 attempts on his life. And look at this. Here's another Democrat that is Dan Goldman, who's going viral, calling for Donald Trump to be assassinated on national television. Watch this.
Unquestionable at this point that man cannot see public office again. He is not only unfit, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
I don't understand how you can get away with that. He has to be eliminated. In what world do you want someone to be eliminated, mate? Because you think that he's a threat to democracy, but you don't actually give any examples of how that is. You just say it like he's a threat to democracy, but he's not actually a threat to democracy. No one can say how he's a threat to democracy. During his time as president, the last 4 years, not these past 4 years, but when he was actually in office, 2016 to 2020, mate, the country was great. No wars. The economy was booming. He has receipts. These Democrats have only got horrible receipts to go off. During Joe Biden's time, it's terrible. And now these people want to go, Trump is the enemy. Remind you of someone else in history? Abraham Lincoln. Also happened to Ronald Reagan. People that actually stand for something are always going to be hated the most. When you stand for things that are right, you're going to be hated on by those that stand for the wrong things. And the ones that actually stand for the wrong things in today's day and age are incredibly powerful because corruption has taken over. That's what evil does. So here is a letter from Donald Trump's team. Democrats' rhetoric inspired another attempt on President Trump's life. Yesterday, President Donald J. Trump was the target of a second assassination attempt in as many months. Thankfully, the would-be assassin was stopped by the heroic action of law enforcement, but make no mistake, this psycho was egged on by the rhetoric and lies that have followed or flowed from Kamala Harris, Democrats, and their fake news allies for years. You don't hate the mainstream media enough, because yesterday the mainstream media was saying that it's Trump's fault that another attempt on his life was carried out. It's Trump's fault. It's Trump's rhetoric. What? Saying that we need to close the border, that Haitian migrants are eating cats and dogs, which, by the way, if you haven't checked Twitter, they are. So far out. Fact check correctly next time. But everyone's going, oh, no. They can't possibly be doing that. It's kind of like when the allies walked into, or, people couldn't believe that the Holocaust actually took place because they couldn't believe that man could be so cruel to their fellow man. Hello? These people are nuts. They're psychotic. They're broken. They're messed up in the head. So yes, it's not because of Trump. It's the Democrats. So Democrats use increasingly incendiary rhetoric against President Trump in the days, weeks, and months leading up to the 2 assassination attempts. And God forbid, more. Harris, repeatedly, Trump is a threat to our democracy and fundamental freedoms. Kamala Harris, again, it's on us to recognize the threat Trump poses. Harris, again, does one of us have to come out alive? Ha, 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 ha. That's from the Ellen interview. Joe Biden, man, there's lots of those. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye. I mean, this is from the bottom of my heart. Trump is a threat to this nation. There is one existential threat. It's Trump. Are you noticing a theme here? Trump is a genuine threat to this nation. He's literally a threat to everything America stands for. Trump and MAGA Republicans are a threat to the very soul of this country. Threat to democracy, the threat. What do you do with a threat? You try and eliminate the threat, don't you? Oh, boy. Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. And that is a threat to this country. Tim Waltz. Are Republicans a threat to democracy? Yes. Are they going to put people's lives in danger? Yes. Well, turns out they're not doing any of that. Looks like the one that's actually in danger is Trump and the Republicans. Gwen Waltz. Bye-bye, Donald Trump. That was a crazy thing she said the other day. Nancy Pelosi. Trump is a threat to our democracy of the kind that we have not seen. Jasmine Crockett. MAGA in general. They are a threat to us domestically. Dan Goldman. He is destructive to our democracy and he has to be eliminated. Just saw that video. Disgraced Harris staffer DJ Ducklow. Trump is an existential urgent threat to our democracy. Top Harris surrogate Liz Cheney. Trump presents a fundamental threat to the republic, and we are seeing it on a daily basis. Steve Cohen. Trump is an enemy of the United States. Maxine Waters. Are Trump supporters preparing a civil war against us? Maxine Waters again. I want to know about all of those right-wing organizers that Trump is connected with. Who are we training up in the hills somewhere? And it continues to go on and on and on. Someone said yesterday, after the second assassination attempt, Hakeem Jeffries, we must stop Trump. Rachel Vindman, wife of disgraced impeached hoax witness. No ears were harmed. Carry on with your Sunday afternoon. You just like these people are sickos. Mickey Sherrill. This really seems to be the confluence of two very bad things going on in the Republican Party. The attempts to divide, to enrage the population. Yeah, sure. Your life is not on the line, is it? Like, where do these people get off? Seriously. Stephen Woodrow. The last thing America needed was sympathy for the devil, but here we are. Just suicidal empathy on full display, if you ask me. That's by Gad Saad, in case you guys are wondering. Lester Holt, ABC Nightly News. Today's apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail. Mr. Trump, his running mate, J.D. Vance, continued to make baseless claims. And they just keep on going. They keep on going with the dangerous and the harmful rhetoric. So yes, again, I will say it. I'm still for freedom of speech. I'm not trying to silence anybody. But I am going, we need to be very, very careful with what someone says, especially when it comes to the incitement of violence towards somebody. No one has a right to incite violence at all towards anyone. That's not a fundamental human right, because no one deserves to be harmed in any kind of capacity. So by you actually espousing incitement of violence, you are going against something that is innately human. The ability for one to live and also the ability for one to actually speak when they're living. What you're doing is wrong on so many levels, and it needs to stop immediately. So yes, I'm going to still defend freedom of speech because I think it needs to be done. But the way I'm going to do it is with more speech, not trying to silence somebody. But I will say, hey, you need to sometimes watch what you say and how you say it, and not actually say things that are going to potentially get a person killed. That would be the smart thing to do, wouldn't it? Anyway, those are my thoughts on this matter. Thank God President Trump is still alive and still going. Let's hope to God that he stays that way. You guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.